In this video, we're going to look at hire purchase National 5 applications questions. For any hire purchase agreement, the total cost of that deal is equal to some sort of deposit, perhaps maybe a final payment, plus the monthly payments that you'll pay a certain amount per month over a certain period of time. That is how a hire purchase deal comes about. So we've got a total cost that's equal to some deposit or maybe a final payment that's getting made plus what you're paying over a period of months. So that's how hire purchase questions take place. Now in National 5 applications, a lot of these are a little bit more elaborate than just simply that, and sometimes it involves working back, working out what the deposit might be, and then making comparisons between perhaps buying something using a hire purchase agreement versus just buying it outright using cash. So let's take a look at this first question. This is from 2019 and it's paper 1, so it's non-calculator. So we've got that Paul is buying a new TV. It's advertised at a price of £825. He decides to use a payment plan to buy the TV. The total cost of the TV using the payment plan is £845.80, and these are the payments. So a deposit of 1/5 of the advertised price is paid. Then it's 8 equal monthly instalments, and it's a final payment of £100. Calculate what the monthly instalment is. So remember, the total cost, which is £845.80, that's equal to some deposit plus the monthly amount that you're paying over a certain period of time. So if we want to work out what the monthly instalments are, this deposit and indeed this final payment, they're going to be taken off from the total cost, and then what is remaining is going to be paid up over those 8 equal monthly instalments. So we need to work out what the deposit is and then take that away from the total price as well as the final payment. So it says that it's 1/5 of the advertised price, so we need to work out 1/5 of £825 because that is the cost that's advertised. Now obviously to work out 1/5, okay, non-calculator, 1/5, just divide by 5. If there's ever anything in National 5 applications that you can't do in your head, do not be afraid to actually sit down working for that. So if I'm dividing this by 5, I can fit 1/5 into 8, remainder 3. I can fit 6 into 32, remainder 2, and then 5 5's fit into 25. So that 1/5 of £825 is £165, and that's what the deposit is. We're also paying a final payment of £100, so that comes off from the total cost. So the amount that's going to be remaining for us to pay over 8 months is the total cost of the hire purchase agreement, which was £845.80, and we're taking off from that £165, and obviously the £165 as well. So that would take us up to £265 that I'm subtracting off. So nice and straightforward, subtracting those off from each other. Leaves £580.80 that's left to be paid, and that is paid over 8 equal monthly instalments. So I just need to divide this amount by 8. And again, if it's non-calculator, you're expected to do these calculations obviously using working, so don't be afraid, make sure that that's something you're confident doing. So I'm dividing this by 8, and I can fit 7, remainder 2, and I can fit 2, remainder 4, and then 6 times 8 is 48. So that's the monthly payment that I need to pay, £72.60. So like I say, most of the hire purchase questions, they kind of come from this idea that the total cost is equal to your deposit, perhaps maybe a final payment plus what it is that you're actually paying monthly. So if you're needing to work back and work out what the monthly instalment is, you're going to have to take off that deposit or final payment from the total cost and then work out what you're paying each month. Let's take a look at question 2. So question 2 comes from part B of another question. So in part A, we're asked to work out what the minimum cost is using a table for somebody buying a bike. So the minimum cost that you work out from part A is £2,960.39, and you're then using that answer to answer this next one. So it says that this person, Scott, cannot afford to pay the bike all at once. The cash price of the complete bike from EP Bikes is £2,991. He chooses to buy the complete bike from EP Bikes as they are the only retailer offering a finance package. So the finance package consists of a deposit of 15% of the cash price, that was the cash price that's shown above, and then 36 payments of £76.50. And we've got to calculate how much more this package costs compared to the minimum total cost, which is what comes from part A. So total cost for a hire purchase deal is the deposit plus what you are paying monthly, and we are paying 36 payments of £76.50. So we need to work out what 15% of the cash price is, which is 2,991. So to work out what the deposit is, and remember this is now a calculate one because it's paper 2, we are working out what 15% of that cash price is up here. And to work out 15%, we don't have a percentages button in our calculator. We need to turn that into a decimal by dividing by 100. So it would be 0.15 times £2,901. Pop that in my calculator and I'll get an answer for that. And it's £448.65. And then we're paying 36 payments of £76.50. So the total for the payments is equal to 36 times £76.50. So 36 times £76.50 is £2,754. Then to work out the total cost, I'm going to simply add those together. So adding those together, so plus the £448.65 gives the cost of that deal being £3,202.65, and we're comparing that to the minimum cost, which is what we were getting from part A, so that's why I've written that up there. So the difference between the two is simply going to be the cost that we've worked out, so £3,202.65 minus the minimum cost that we found from part A, £2,960.39. Subtract those off from each other and that will give us the difference between the two, and it's £242.26. That's what the difference is between the two of them. So this one was not a working backwards one. This one was just simply going with the fact that the total for a hire purchase agreement is the deposit plus what you're paying in regular payments, so that could be monthly or whatever, that and then added together. Okay, and then that one we're comparing that with the minimum cost that we've worked out before. Let's look at the last question that we've got for hire purchase. So Kyle's buying a new 3-piece suite. It is advertised at a price of £1,260. He can't afford to pay this all at once. He decides to use a payment plan to buy the 3-piece suite. The total price of the payment plan is 12% more than the advertised price. The payments are calculated as follows. So it's a deposit of a third of the total price, 8 equal monthly instalments, and then a final payment of 200. How much will each monthly instalment be? So this time we are told information about what the total price is for the hire purchase deal, and we've got to work back to find what the monthly instalments would be. So we need to subtract the deposit and the final payment from that total price. That will then let us work out what we've got to pay over 8 months, and then we can work out what we would pay per month from that. So it says that the total price is 12% more than the advertised price. Now this was a calculator paper. Okay, so what we could do is actually two options. We could work out what 12% is of the total price, 1,260, and then add that on, or we could recognise that we're starting off with 100% for the total price, the cash price, sorry, the advertised price, and we're adding on 12% for the total price of the hire purchase deal. So that means that we're using a multiplier of 1.12 after converting it to a decimal. So I can simply times by 1.12. Instead of working out 12% and adding it on in 2 steps, I can do that in the 1 step. Sorry, so I'm timesing by 1,260. And that tells me that the total purchase price, the price for the hire purchase agreement, is £1,411.20. So now I just need to work out what the deposit is. So the deposit is a third of that total price. So I need to divide that by 3. So I'm dividing this by 3, and that's £470.40. That, along with the final payment of £200, is coming away from the total price. That will then identify what's remaining to pay so that we can work out what each monthly instalment will be. So I need to work out what amount we have remaining by subtracting the deposit and the final payment from the total price, and that will then tell me what I have left to pay over 8 months. So I've got £740, 80 pence left to pay over 8 months. So I simply need to divide that by 8 to find out what the monthly payment is going to be. So I'm dividing this amount by 8. Calculator paper, so it's fine to use a calculator. Divide that by 8, and we pay £92.60 per month. Okay, so hire purchase deals, they're all based on the kind of general formula for a hire purchase deal, which is that the total cost is equal to the deposit plus the monthly payments that you're making. And there's kind of two maybe types of questions that you've got. You've got ones where you're just simply working out what the total cost is. So you work out the deposit and you add on the monthly amounts to that. But there's also the type of question where you're working backwards to find out what perhaps the monthly payment is by subtracting off payments that have already been made towards the total cost.